he could finish Nick Diaz, and he didn't. So I don't know that I would put 500 on it, but either way, I mean,
All right, guys.
okay.
Thanks for taking my call.
See ya. All right, we're going to move past Anthony Johnson. We weren't able to get a hold of him. Our next guest is Kat Zingano. She's going to be fighting Miesha Tate at the Ultimate Fighter 17 finale. Now, the stakes have been raised just a bit here. The winner will become a coach on the Ultimate Fighter 18 against world champion Ronda Rousey. So she is a 135-pounder, same weight class for the women. That is the bantamweight. And she brings a 7-0 record to the octagon. Let's bring her on. Kat, how you doing?
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm good.
All right, welcome to MMA Junkie Radio. You're on with George and Goes. Pleasure to have you on. Exciting news you heard this weekend, huh?
Yeah, definitely upped the bar a lot. This is it's an awesome opportunity being thrown our direction, and I can't wait to see where it goes after our fight.
When did you first hear about the possibility that you could be a coach on Ultimate Fighter 18 with a win over Miesha Tate?
Well, it was kind of an odd day Saturday. I had taken a nap because I'd just been training my butt off, and took a nap and shut off my phone and shut off the lights and everything, and was planning on getting up to go watch the fights, and turned my phone back on around 8 o'clock when I woke up. And there's a text from Dana on there, and it said, "Call me, this is Dana White." And I haven't personally spoken to him yet other than introducing myself when I saw him at Ronda Rousey and Liz Carmouche fight. And, so it was a random number and wasn't sure if it was someone messing with me or what, but I ended up calling him, and, he was in the midst of the fights getting started, so it was really loud, and he was like, "Hey, so, do you hear the good news?" And I was like, no, what good news? What are you talking about? And he's like, the winner of you and Miesha Tate is going to be fighting Ronda Rousey. Obviously fighting Ronda Rousey, but after coaching the next Ultimate Fighter season. And I was just like, wow, that's sweet. Wow. And he's like, "So you happy?" I'm like, "Yeah, wow." So I was a little bit sleepy still, and it was definitely big news for especially what I expected to be coming up. I originally felt like that was an awesome idea. I know that I had heard it from people that would be really cool if they put the girls as the coaches for the next Ultimate Fight, but I didn't know that it was in the works. And when I had heard that they were playing, or that that was an idea or an option, I was planning on definitely bringing everything I have to the fight, and being extremely motivated to making that a possibility. I wanted to definitely go out and shock the fans and shock Dana White and earn that decision, and then now that the decision has already been made for that to be the potential of the decision with our fight, it definitely motivated me a lot more. So, I hit the gym the hardest I think I've ever hit it starting this week, just because that who wouldn't want to fight the Ultimate or coach the Ultimate Fighter? That's an awesome opportunity. But right now I'm staring at Miesha Tate, and none of that is even possible if I don't get past this fight. So, I guess it's easier to talk about on April 14th than it is now, because I'm dead set on beating that girl right now. So.
All right. Now, you had he made the announcement on TV yet? By the time you called him?
Yeah, he had. I hadn't talked to anybody. I had gotten a few texts when I turned on my phone that said that, "Hey, congrats," and I was like, well, "What are they talking about?" I don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna call this guy real quick.
All right. And sorry to interrupt, but now you're just not a hardcore fan, like you weren't tuning in, because I think this announcement was made on FX right about the time that most MMA fans are watching. You just do you not like watch all the cards, all the fights, or?
No, I do. I let's see. This last fight was the GSP DS fight was the last one that I've actually gotten up and watched. When I'm training for my own fights, I like to watch fights, and I like to hear about how everybody did and kind of have my favorite picks and everything like that. But I'm really focused on myself and improving and learning and having my day by day routine go by. So if that means I have to sleep through one to get rest to go, kick ass the next day, then that's a sacrifice I make. But I really do enjoy watching the fights, and I really do, all that. But it came as a surprise to me for sure.
I can totally respect that. Yeah, I mean, if you needed to recover to prepare for whatever's coming up next, that's cool. But I just think that would have been pretty awesome to hear Dana White announce that while you're watching and you didn't know beforehand.
No, I mean, it was cool to hear it from him personally.
True.
Also, but it was I don't know. I missed it on TV, and we're definitely trying to look for it right now because I want to see it.
Okay. All right. Kat Zingano joins us here on MMA Junkie Radio. She's got a fight coming up versus Miesha Tate at the Ultimate Fighter 17 finale. The winner will become a coach on the Ultimate Fighter 18 versus Ronda Rousey. That announcement was made during UFC 158's broadcast last weekend, along with the fact that what they're going to do is they're going to have the equal amount of male fighters and female fighters at 135 pounds. So I think that kind of makes it interesting. They've never done that. Goes, what do you have for Kat?
Kat, when you turned on your phone and you saw there was a text from Dana White that says, "Call me," but it was also mixed in with some that say, "Congrats," what kind of thoughts were going through your head? I mean, I'm sure a text from Dana White could be something like, "Miesha's out of the fight," or "Congrats" could maybe be something like, "You've been bumped up to fight Ronda Rousey." What was going through your head?
Anthony, the director of PR, we had that roundtable dinner when we were out there for UFC 157. And, I got to know him and talk to him for a bit, and he was a really nice guy. And we were, comparing fight stories and things like that. And he was telling me, or he texted me, and he was like, "Wow, all this is, going great right now, isn't it?" A few days ago, before that. And I was thinking, or I was like, "Yeah, man, this is so cool. Everything is awesome. It's happening so fast. I can't wait for this fight, And he's like, "Well, I've got some really good news for you, so I'll be calling you soon." And I was just like, "Oh, wow, I wonder what that's all about." And so, with him having that comment, and then, seeing the text from Dana, and then also the congrats from my friends, I knew it was something great. I knew it was something really cool, and I just didn't know what. So, I don't know. I haven't been expecting Miesha to drop out. I don't think that. I mean, unless she was really injured, I can't imagine that she would pull out of this fight. And so I don't know. I had no idea what to expect, but I was open to whatever great surprise they were telling me was going to happen.
You mentioned that this kind of raises the stakes, and I know it can probably motivate you even more. But at the same time, can it distract you a little bit? I mean, even if it takes your focus away from the fight for even a second, I got to imagine you sit down and you go, "Man, if I did get this shot, so-and-so would be my coaches. This is what I'd want to do." Can it serve as a distraction at all for you?
I've definitely thought of all those things about who the coaches I would bring are and all of that. But, any kind of conversation that I do get into with my coaches about it, because obviously they've heard as well, they're like, none of that matters. They're like, "You're not even going to get there unless you win this fight, so let's focus on this fight." And I'm like, all right. I've been coaching fighters myself and, training and cornering fighters for a long time as well. I run my own women's only fitness boot camps, so I'm a good motivator. I have a lot to offer as far as getting people to reach their goals, so this is just something that I already have a lot of passion for, and I already have a lot of enjoyment in, and so, it's hard for me to look past or look into it as not a great opportunity and not think about it, because I'm really excited to offer that to people, to be that part of people's lives, and to contribute to these fighters' camps, mentally, physically, motivationally is something really attractive to me on a personal level. So, yeah, of course I'm thinking about it, but I do know that the task at hand is to beat Miesha, and that's really what I got to focus on. And the motivation I get from knowing that is something that lies behind winning this fight. It's definitely made me pick things up. I want that, I really do. But like I said, first and foremost, I got to get her, and I guess that just means hitting these days hard and making sure I don't cut any corners and work my butt off if I'm gonna get those results that I want to.
Kat, since it already went through your head, can you just share with us who some of those coaches may be?
Yeah, it would be Mark Beecher, the
good.
hyena.
Yeah, we know him.
Mauricio Zingano, who is obviously my husband and my BJJ coach. I am thinking I would bring Lisa Bowling, my wrestling coach, and possibly Lauren Landau, who's my strength and conditioning coach, and he's gold. All of these men are incredible. So I was definitely thinking that. I mean, they're my arsenal right now. They all are very, very good at what they do and very passionate about what they do, and they teach me a lot, and they turn this martial art into an art for me, strictly through their passions and showing me how to do what I need to do. So, that would be the people that I would bring, for sure. And I don't know, maybe others may be different at other times or whatever, but those are my right-hand man right there. So
sounds like a solid group. You spent some time out there in California, when they brought in the other the 4 contenders, if you will, along with the world champion Ronda Rousey and Liz Carmouche, and we saw you 4, at the weigh-ins and at the all the different events that they had there leading up to. Did you have any interaction at all with Ronda Rousey?
When they brought us to the event center, the Honda Center, they walked us into the room, and Black House is affiliated with my team, Zingano, and, so I saw Lyoto, and I saw his family and his team, and Ed Suarez, and I was saying hi to them and turned around and noticed she was sitting in the room, and I walked up to her, and I introduced myself. I told her, hey, I'm Kat, and I shook her hand, and she I think this was right before weigh-ins maybe, so I think she looked a little miserable. I mean, we didn't really have any interaction, and I kind of prefer it that way anyways. I'm not looking to make friends here. We can do whatever we are after the fight, but, until then, these are my opponents. Ronda has what I want, and Miesha is in the way of what I want. So, I'm definitely looking for that world champion title. That's what I've always wanted to be in my life at something, and this is where I figured out is exactly what I want, and I feel like I was meant to be this.
You said...
I'm not looking to make friends with them right now, but I definitely would like to be acquainted.
You said, hi, I'm Kat. Did she say anything back?
Nope. I think I just shook her hand. She was sitting down, I was standing up, and then I just went and took a seat next to her because we all had to sit and wait to be escorted into the press conference.
Oh wow! So if not for the shake of the hand, really there was no acknowledgement from her on her part.
I don't know. I don't really remember. I just remember seeing her and definitely wanting to get my face imprinted in her memory,
Right. Oh, that's interesting. And then we obviously heard yours and Miesha's comments afterwards after the fight. Not too impressed. And I know all this is happening too quick, but any regret on that part? A lot of people said maybe both of you were a little harsh there that night, or what are your thoughts now that, maybe you've seen the fight a couple times?
Man, you know what? I was actually super impressed with the fight. And I felt like Ariel kind of set us up for disaster with that by, throwing in his comments and putting me and Miesha right next to each other. I mean, like I said, I'm not looking past Miesha. So I feel like I went to that fight and I watched a fight, and now I'm ready for my fight.
Gotcha.
And they put me right next to the person I'm about to fight, and it's, there's a little bit of nervousness there, sitting there talking about a game plan and sitting there talking about what I think of that fight and this and that, because I wasn't thinking about that fight. I'm thinking about my fight. And, I totally think Ronda and Liz had a great fight. However, I'm still not thinking about their fight. I'm thinking about my fight, and I want to keep the momentum going. They had an exciting performance that people were very happy with, and I was very happy with. That was the wish that I had the entire time, was that, that they go out there and they fight their hearts out, and they did. And I'm not saying that I'm not impressed. I'm just, Ronda had an armbar in every fight that she's had, and, he asked me if she's a one-trick pony, and, by definition, if you finish every fight with the exact same move, what else would you say to that? I mean, yes, she gets everyone in the armbar, like, I don't know. I finish fights too, and I've never finished a fight the exact same way twice.
Okay.
So it's not that I am not impressed. It's just that, you know, if I'm going to put myself in the position to talk about where I stand, depending, you know, on the results of their fight, you know, I have a bigger arsenal than that, you know. So I look at the fight and I'm like, okay, nice arm bars. Clearly she's got that down and she's confident in those. Wow, I'm confident in a lot more things, so it's okay. You know, it's good, and I was impressed. I felt like that interview got torn apart, you know, and people were thinking that Miesha and I were saying, you know, things and being catty, and that really sucked because that's not the impression I wanted to give across. I'm very proud of all of us. I'm proud of all the women that are making it in MMA, and I don't really identify with being catty or negative or having anybody ever call me that either. You know, that was just like, it was really strange. It was really weird and kind of made me shy of wanting to do some interviews, you know, but I know that we just got to keep the momentum going, and we got to keep on putting on good fights, and we'll get the recognition we deserve, like we already are right now. So. Well,
luckily you're clearing it up on MMA Junkie Radio, brought to you by USA Today. So I think a lot of people will know that Kat wasn't being catty on that night. It was just a rough night. But I'll tell you what, your life's really changed, you know, here in these last 6 months. From, you know, this prospect we hear about, you know, I think you suffered an injury, then we heard about Invicta, then we heard about Strikeforce, now the UFC, now a #1 contender bout, now a possible coach. That's amazing.
Boom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and on top of that, I have a 6-year-old that has science projects to do and homework and getting to bed on time and feeding and all this. So, you know, yes, my life is dramatically gotten a lot more busy, and I've had to definitely organize and rationalize a lot more in these last few months. So it's going really well. It's all positive. It's just a matter of organizing it all well.
Okay, one last thing here. Your husband is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Where do you rank? Are you a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt as well?
I'm a purple belt. My husband is a traditional jiu-jitsu black belt, and that means, you know, he belts people through a gi, and he belts people through, you know, making sure that they know stuff. It's not about what you know, who you beat. It's about what you know. And so because I train MMA so much, and I don't really get to put on a gi as often as I'd like to. Throughout these years, especially when I wasn't able to fight, you know, I'm very competitive, so I wanted to continue to stay active in the competitive sports. So I did jiu-jitsu, I did Muay Thai, you know, I competed on all those levels, and I still did well. I won the majority of everything that I applied myself to as far as jiu-jitsu, and I won my Muay Thai fight, but you know, at this point, I haven't put enough time into my gi for him to believe. No, he believes, and he really wants to promote me to a brown belt. But you know, he is also sticking true to his roots and making sure that I know all the techniques and everything that I would need to know regarding lapels and chokes and using a gi and having all of those things go down for traditional jiu-jitsu. So. You know, right now I'm a purple belt. I have 4 stripes, so I'm on the brink of getting into a brown belt, and that's definitely something that I want to continue to pursue. It's just right now, MMA and training in a gi, they go hand in hand, I do believe, because you need to be able to think. You need to be able to figure out all your weapons and use them wisely. But without me putting on a gi more than once or twice a week, you know, he's holding me back from giving me that promotion. And, you know, I appreciate it and I understand it, and I completely agree. You know, there are things that I would like to know before I get promoted as well, and things that I would like to just be able to have on more of a consistent level. So, you know, that's a different dynamic of the sport, a different discipline, but very much a part of MMA. And, yeah, you know, I'm excited to achieve those goals as well.
I'm going to make a prediction. If you go 2-0 in 2013, and at one point you stop an armbar in one of those fights, I think you'll get your brown belt in the octagon. But that's just me. You know,
That'd be so awesome.
I think outside the box, and I'm a dreamer as well. All right, one last thing here. You mentioned you have was it a daughter or a son? The 6-year-old.
A son.
Okay, and so you know these coaching stints are about 6 weeks, maybe 7, depending on what you have to do, the commitments you have first, beforehand and afterwards. What happens with him when you come out to Vegas? Does he come along for an extended field trip, or does he stay home?
Well, and I mean that's the perfect part about the timing is that I'm not sure what the dates spin, but it looks like it's over summer. So yeah, I would definitely bring him with me. My family comes first and foremost to me. For me to do well and perform well, they need to be well, and that is a big explanation for a lot of the space that I've had between fights. Is because things weren't the way they needed to be at home in order for me to perform at my best in the gym. So I definitely need my family. There's no way I could leave either of them for 6 weeks and be fully functional and at my best. So I would definitely figure out a way to get all of us out there, especially with my husband coaching with me. I would really need I would need my kid to have his parents as well,
Yeah.
So, it would definitely get worked out that he would be able to be with me. He's my heart and soul. He's my love. So I can't do what I need to do without him.
All right, Kat. Well, great, Kat. Great having this chat with you, and thank you for the time. Is there anything you'd like to say or promote before we let you go?
Yeah, I would really like to thank my manager, Ricky Vasquez. He's been doing a great job with everything. He keeps me calm. He talks to me often. My husband has been so helpful. The entire school, the jiu-jitsu program, all my friends and family at the academy that are just there for me no matter what. Mark Beecher working with me on my stand-up, he's become a really good friend right now as well. I have Josh Ford helping me with my nutrition and also my BJJ for MMA. And, Lauren Landau, he's an incredible strength and conditioning coach, top of the line. My sponsors, they're all amazing. They're all making this possible for me and making me feel like a little princess. I absolutely dig it. All you guys with your interviews and your questions, you're being so nice, and you guys are keeping it classy, and it really makes it encouraging to go out and perform at my best. The fans, I love the fans. People are being so supportive. So I don't know. I couldn't ask for a better life right now. Everything is happening exactly the way I would have dreamt. So I love it, and I appreciate everybody that's involved.
All right, Kat. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to let everybody know they can follow you on Twitter at Kat Zingano. And we look forward to the fight. It'll be here at the Mandalay Bay Event Center, and that's where our studio is. So during fight week, we'll try and get you into our studio if you have time. If not, no worries. You've given us an excellent interview. All
right. Wait, one more shout-out. I just want to let Dana White know that this is awesome. I'm happy he believes in this, and he's supporting the women's MMA. This is really a stand-up move of his, and I want to thank him as well.
Sounds good. All right. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
All right. You too. Bye-bye. All right. Let's do that one real fast while Jen gets over here. Junkie Hotline.